Hello, Star Wars fans! Today we're going to be digging for answers in Skeleton Crew Episode 4. In particular, I'm going to focus on Easter eggs and then any hints we can find to the overall mysteries of the series. So, lots to talk about. There will be spoilers, but as long as you're okay with that, then let's dive right in and see what we can find out. Don't forget, we have a December contest running all month long. Be a subscriber, leave a comment, and you could win a book or a steelbook. Best of luck. And we have a membership option with lots of cool perks, so you might check it out in case you're interested. So as a reminder, here's where we are in the overall Star Wars timeline, and we're still waiting to know at what point in the past were the 9 jewels of the Old Republic, including At Attin, formally established. So we didn't get any more information on that, unfortunately. All right, so on to the Easter eggs. So is this potentially a Richard Donner Easter egg? Remember, Jod says, Rened's ghost, I can't believe it, and I'll give credit to Eric Voss for turning Rened around and getting Donner. And it does make sense that Richard Donner might be referenced here, since of course he directed the Goonies, Superman, etc. But Goonies in particular, there's been a lot of Easter eggs for that. So yeah, very cool. I like that idea from Voss. Okay, so here we get another Star Wars Holiday Special Easter egg. When Jod turns on this little device, notice the jaunty tune playing. Now, that tune is the same tune with the cheesy dance number from the Star Wars Holiday Special. Cannot believe that thing keeps getting references. Too funny. Somewhere George Lucas is going, stop, just make it go away. Make it die. All right, so then we get another reference to the RX-type droid that's on the Star Tours ride. You can see him on the left there, and remember we saw him in Episode 1 driving the bus. So we're seeing a lot of similarities between this planet and At Attin, and of course, this is the original droid from the Star Tours ride. And then I'm pretty sure that SM-33 is channeling an infiltrator droid when he stretches his arms out to look really menacing when he's ready to attack the kids. Of course, an infiltrator droid was seen in Rebels. Let me know your thoughts on that. It seems like that's where they were trying to go with this, and if so, that is really cool. But this is definitely intentional. The EOP, I love it. We get an EOP reference. And notice they say that the beast may stink. Well, remember, they have flatulence issues. We've seen that many times. But remember, we've seen these in The Phantom Menace. And of course, we saw them again in the Obi-Wan series. Now, this looks like a slightly different breed because they have long ears, but it's got to be the same overall species for sure. So very cool. And then is this maybe an Easter egg for Black Panther? Because remember when the leader of the tribe slams his staff on the ground, all his warriors start grunting? Reminds me so much of M'Baku with his staff, and of course all of his warriors that would grunt. So not sure if it's a reference, but I'm going to give him credit for it nonetheless, because I just loved this scene in Black Panther. And then I'm just going to call this a parenting Easter egg. I love when SM-33 initiates babysitting sequence. Come on, baby. Onto the ship, baby. Don't make me count. That look on Jod's face is epic. I can remember all the times when my son was really young, having to tell him, I'm going to count to 3, and that's it. So, love it, love it, love it. All right, so now let's look at some hints to the mystery. So this is interesting. When they first approach the planet, see the satellite here, there's several more satellites there, and you can see the barrier is kind of breaking down. It's not really functional anymore. Then here's another satellite here. Well, I'm wondering, this is the barrier from At Attin, and notice the red lights everywhere. In fact, I'm going to zoom in real close so you can make sure you can see them. See those red lights? I wonder if those are the same satellites, only in this case they're working at At Attin, and that's why the barrier is in place. So that's kind of cool. And then we find that they are locked into an autopilot landing sequence. And honestly, I kind of wish they had just let it, land them. Where would they have gone? Where would it have taken them? I'm really kind of curious. But anyway, SM-33 shuts off the autopilot and he lands obviously on his own. Then we get a little hint maybe about Jod's origin when he says, it tastes like ashy dust. Looks a lot like my home planet, actually. So I don't know what planet that would be, but still, it kind of gives us a few hints maybe about his history. I bet they're going to keep sprinkling some more hints throughout the later episodes. And then we find out that this planet is named At Achrann, and it's actually SM-33 that reveals that to Jod. He says that At Achrann be playing tricks on me memory circuits. 'Tis a dangerous place, I know it well. So that's interesting. We now know that SM-33 has been to this planet. In fact, he even says, I remember warriors like these, referring to the warring tribes, and we snuck past them, we did. So, okay, not only does that mean SM-33's been to this planet, but that means they've been to this planet after it had fallen into disrepair and the warring tribes were fighting with each other. So that makes me really curious to know exactly when they visited this planet, and then ultimately visited At Attin, where the ship crashed. But then when Jod starts to question SM-33 about At Attin, of course his programming kicks back in, right? He starts by saying, well, this planet does remind me, and then suddenly, nope, can't say I remember no At Attin, which of course he said over and over again, and is the title of our episode. So clearly he's been programmed to say that whenever anyone asks about it, and we'll learn more about that in a minute. And then I find this really interesting, right? Because we learned last episode that the scroll depicts the jewels of the Old Republic, and Kim said long ago they were destroyed except for one. Well, turns out they weren't actually destroyed. I mean, they certainly fell into disrepair. We see them, now having warring tribes fighting each other. But I wonder why Kim thought they were destroyed, and also why did Kim give them coordinates to a planet she thought was destroyed? That is really interesting. She does say, though, remember, they were all planets of wonder kept hidden for their protection. So that's why I think those satellites over at Achrann were originally working and then now have just fallen into disrepair. All right, so who is this dude? It's a bummer he doesn't have a head, right? Because I wonder if he did have a head, would we recognize him? Is this somebody from the past, that we would know? So I'm really curious now, did this person, found just at Achrann or also at Attin, in fact, all of the 9 planets? Very, very interesting. Then we see that there are many parallels between At Achrann and At Attin, because when they walk in this house, that stairway is exactly like the one in Fern's house, right? So look at that stairway, and then obviously here's the exact same stairway, same design and everything. So they're kind of like carbon copies of each other. And even more importantly, notice the mural behind Neil. That's the same mural. I mean, exactly the same mural that we saw in Fern's house. So yeah, whoever established these planets basically made them, clones of each other, if you will. Then that makes you wonder, therefore, is this massive gun hidden on top of the school on At Attin? Because if everything is the same, if they're all carbon copies, this thing exists on At Attin, and now Neil knows how to open it. So will this come into play maybe in the final episode with a big battle with the pirates? That would be sweet. Let me know your thoughts on that. All right, so then they talk about the fallen sanctum and how that has a lot of hidden knowledge. Well, of course, it turns out that fallen sanctum is really the mysterious supervisor's tower. You can kind of see it through the mist there on the left. And yeah, that's the exact same model as the supervisor's tower that we saw on At Attin. So yeah, there is a lot that is similar between these planets. And let's talk about this thing for a minute on At Attin. I didn't mention this in the last episode breakdown, but this thing is just really creepy, right? I mean, there is nobody there. In fact, they even say on At Attin, no one's allowed up there. So what is going on with this place? And then they've got like this one creepy guard there, security droid guard, walking around. What is up with this place? I am very, very curious to see when they go to visit the supervisor's tower on their planet. Will the parents go there first, or will it take the kids coming back to At Attin to say, hey, we got to go to the supervisor's tower? But anyway, I can't wait to see what's up there. So all I know is the one on At Achrann, ain't no way I'm going up in that thing. That thing looks like it's going to fall over at any second. And they ride up an elevator when they probably could see out the sides. Oh, man, I'm afraid of heights to begin with, but there's just no way. There is no way. They are very, very brave to go up in that. But luckily they do, and they discover that it has coordinates to all of the 9 planets. Jod notices that this one is at A2, and it has the galactic coordinates. Then he sees another one, which is At Achrann, which is the coordinates that Kim gave them. And again, I'm still trying to figure out why Kim gave them those coordinates. And then they see 3 more. They see At Arisia, At Aravan, and At Akota. So yeah, this is really cool. I'm wondering if all of these same coordinates are in the supervisor's tower on their planet. But they find out the ones to At Attin have been destroyed. And who destroyed them? Well, that would be SM-33. He comes clean and says, well, when I was here before with my old captain, that's when I destroyed them. So now everybody's really curious. What is it this dude knows about, At Attin? And why is he not telling us? So Fern gets a really good idea. She realizes, what if he can't say it because he was ordered not to? So she pulls the same trick that she did in the first episode with her droid, where she, gets it to unlock the programming. Well, maybe that wasn't a good idea, right? Because he explains the captain killed any of his crew that saw the coordinates to At Attin, and then he ordered me to destroy them and forget everything I knew about At Attin. And then just in case someone did get me to talk about it, he told me that if anybody ever comes poking around, looking for the treasure, then I'm supposed to pull them apart. Oh my word. So yeah, lots of extra layers to this programming, which they've unfortunately uncovered and would have died if not for, well, everybody kind of teaming up to ultimately shut him down. In fact, Neil was the real hero with distracting him long enough for Jod to be able to shut him down. And then, of course, Neil faints. So cute. And then I love this comment on our Discord for the channel, basically saying, hey, we're 4 episodes in and I've only now realized that Neil has hair. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I did not realize the little dude had hair. That is too funny. But anyway, great episode for Neil. All right, so now let's summarize the things that we've learned about the mystery. So I've been keeping this list and going over it during each breakdown. I'm not going to read everything here. You can pause if you want to read it. But on number 1, we have to update that to At Attin is one of the 9 jewels of the Old Republic, and the others fell into ruin. Because, of course, we thought they were destroyed, but now we just know they've fallen into ruin. And then the other big change is number 10, where we need to add that SM-33 visited the 9 jewels and was programmed by his captain to keep At Attin hidden. So that's the real question. Why was he doing that? In fact, speaking of the questions, here's the list of the questions I've been keeping track of. So the small updates, first to number 1, we need to ask the question of why did the others fall into ruin? Basically, why did At Achrann turn into, a planet of warring tribes while At Attin is still basically a paradise? And then also, why did SM-33's captain want to keep At Attin a secret? I mean, obviously, it's probably because of the gold and the money, right? But we don't know that. So it's still an open question. So let me know if there's any other questions I don't have here, but I am just really loving this mystery. Every time that we learn one thing, we add more to the mystery. So it's going to be great to see all of these mysteries slowly revealed. All right, now we wait for next week's episode. I really liked this one. Let me know your thoughts. How are you feeling about the series? And did you like this episode in particular? So don't forget, December contest. Be a subscriber, leave a comment, win that book or steelbook. And there's the membership option in case you're interested in that. And I always love to mention the Discord. Here we are in the Skeleton Crew spoiler section. Right after the episodes drop, we get in there and start talking about them. So we have 1,900 members across the globe, conversations 24/7, and we want you to be part of them. I'll leave a pinned comment so you can join. Also, if you don't mind, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out more content, and we will all eagerly await the next episode of Skeleton Crew.